Recently, Japan has been dealing with a lot of over-tourism. And with over-tourism comes disrespect to the Japanese way of life. Yeah, so since Japan has opened its borders back in 2022 or 2023, I believe, from COVID, people have been flocking to Japan to take advantage of the weekend, meaning their dollar has lost some value, making things cheaper for us. What I mean by us, I mean people from outside of Japan. And with the flux of people from outside of Japan traveling into Japan, comes some problems. Some religious sites being disrespected, respectful locals being disregarded, Johnny Somali, public spaces being used as a spot for entertainment, some famous tourist locations being closed off or having restrictions, and overcrowding in different areas. One of the locations in Japan heavily impacted by over-tourism I want to talk about is my second home, Kyoto. Back in 2023, I lived in Kyoto for 3 months, and man, and I experienced the beginning of over-tourism in Japan. And even though I myself was an outsider, or Gion as Japanese would say, I experienced a lot of things that were irritating me from other tourists and people from outside of Japan. It just was like, come on, man. So I want to talk about my experience in the Gion district. I believe it was within my last week of being in Japan. I wanted to stop by the Gion district to see the traditional part of Kyoto, and as well as get some coffee at a coffee franchise that has a location. You see what I'm pointing at? I put on my yukata and made my way down to the Gion district. I enjoyed the stroll on the way there, enjoyed the views, and oh my god, was it hot. A couple minutes later, I made it down to the Gion district, and man, at first it was like, man, I'm in the traditional part of Kyoto. I'm in the heart of Kyoto right now. And then it just slowly started to become like, alright, I'm ready to go home. Because the moment I cut the corner to go down to a street in the Gion district, it was already crowded. I'm not saying I'm claustrophobic or I don't do good around crowds, but when you're around a bunch of people that aren't really self-aware, I'm not saying that because they're outsiders, this is just a people thing in general, whether it be here in America or outside. When you're around a bunch of people who are not really self-aware, to me it's like a ding ding ding, get away from the area. I'm not saying I can't function, but I just don't like to be around what feels like a hazard to me. A lot of the streets in the Gion district are pretty narrow, and it gets pretty crowded in that area because you got some people trying to make videos in the middle of the walkway, and then when you try to get by, you interrupt the video because they're making a video, and then they look at you like you stupid. It's like, you know, all right, you can scoot over at least to one side, not smack dab in the middle of the walkway. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show y'all. Watch, hold on. Like, move out the way, move, man, move. Like, I understand you excited, but you're in the walkway. You don't sit there and make no video in the walkway. Now it's a mess. I ended up passing probably about 3 or 4 more people trying to do videos like that, and as well as couples trying to take I think wedding pictures. They were trying to take those, but they were off to the side more, but it was just more of like a, you can't get mad at me and everybody else for not stopping because you want to take your picture. I feel like if you go to that part, if you want to take a picture, just you're just gonna have to accept the fact that people are going to be in the background unless you go at a time when nobody's there. I ended up going to the Starbucks in the Gion district, but you had to make a reservation, so the only thing I could do was just look at how it looks from the outside and also take a picture of the sign. But upon leaving, one of the big no-nos happens. This lady tries to stop a geisha and was literally just following her, blocking her pathway, and was trying to take pictures of her. Not trying, but she was taking pictures of her. And I'm just like, ma'am, read the room. The overall amount of time I spent in the Gion district that day was probably about an hour or an hour and a half. Because even though things were crowded, I still at least wanted to see them. I got a few pictures, but not really a lot of pictures because I wanted to experience it in person instead of through my cell phone. My advice for visiting the Gion district where it's not so crowded would probably be get there around maybe a little bit before 5 a.m. all the way up to 7 a.m. because the sun rises at 4:30 over there in Japan, and a lot of people really aren't out and about around that time. Now, if you don't mind dealing with the crowd, just ignore what I said, but just overall for anybody, just be respectful wherever you go. That's really all. That is the end of this video. Go ahead and hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I will see y'all in the next one. God willing, be safe, don't do drugs. Peace.